Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Meme Insider Podcast. This is episode 4, I believe. I'm here with Toucher. He has a pretty substantially sized Instagram account. So today we're going to talk about that because we've had a bunch of people on from different platforms. We have not really yet talked to an Instagrammer, at least on the podcast. So how are you doing, man?
Very good, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. All right, so I guess we'll just jump right into it here. What's something most people wouldn't know about running an Instagram account? Like, it's something we just started doing, but I'm curious what people might not expect.
Okay, so when you first start out on Instagram, well, on my case, I started my Instagram account for a school project, and then that kind of evolved into me unfollowing all the meme pages on my personal account and starting following them on the this account, right?
Yeah.
And then weirdly enough, I started posting memes, just reposting whatever I found funny, and people started following. So once you get a following, you kind of feel pressured to, continue supplying content. So that's when I changed from just being a school project account to being a repost account. And then, like, as time advanced, I remember watching one of Large Trap's lives. And that's when I said, like, hey, I mean, I'm a good editor. Why not just start making my own content? So that's when I switched to making OC, which means original content, right?
Yeah.
So when you run an Instagram account, like, you get to know the community. It's a really big community. There's, like, the ironic community, the original content community, the reposting community. Like, there's so many different types of pages and so many different types of people. And when you run an Instagram account, it's a more personal, down-to-earth. Like, you get to know the people, and you make group chats, and you have the ability to talk with them and, talk editing. I mean, I'm in a bunch of group chats for editors, like Prodigy, Large Trap, Dolan Dark, King Hill, Retry. There's a bunch of, like, editors out there that are really good. And, with Instagram, it's just a platform that connects everyone.
Right. And how do you find those different, like, how do you get plugged in with those communities? Because unlike a place like, I don't know, Tumblr or Reddit, where you can just, like, look up a topic and then there's a page dedicated to it, Instagram, it seems more like a loose network of people. So I'm curious how do you find these people, or do they find you?
So, I mean, I believe that in Instagram, you have to make a name for yourself. You gotta be known for something. You have to have your name out there. And it's like a snowball effect. Once you start following one page, then Instagram starts recommending similar pages, and then that just snowballs down, and you get, like, tons of recommendations as to who to follow, similar pages, and it just, you find one, and then maybe a repost page posts a nice edit, so you go and you see, like, oh, who's this new editor? And you check out their profile, and then check who they're following, and it's just one account leads you to the other, and so on and so forth.
Right. And with all of that, when you're in those different group chats, you guys, like, spread, like, hey, I think this meme's going to catch on, I think we should jump on this wagon? Or is it more just like talking about tips? Like, I'm curious, what do people talk about in those kinds of group chats?
So let me tell you a bit about the group chats I'm in. So when I first started making original content, I remember making this one video with Squidward. It's an episode where Squidward is sculpting, and when he breaks open he breaks the rock, I made sands appear, right? And that's like that was my edit that got me on the map. And then this one meme page, who was it? I'm Truly Thick. It was I'm Truly Thick. Noticed my edit, and then he DM'd me, and he was like, hey, pretty cool edit. You want to join this group chat that's with a bunch of other editors? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm down. Just, like, add me. So I get added, and I see the group chat consisted of Lowfather Figure, Beepus.man, Prodigy.exe, BLTW, Meme Dealer Dan. Who else was in there? I'm Truly Thick, of course. Kermit. Like, there was just a bunch of good OC pages, Dirty Soup, like, that I looked up to, right? And they made their own content, GXS. And there were really big pages. I was, like, around 5K, 6K followers. So when I got added into that account, the group chat was called OC Crew. So that's when I started really connecting with other OC memers, right?
Yeah.
And then from that account, a bunch, like 3 pages got deleted. So me and Girl Scout Cookies, which was the founder of the group, Spicy Dog before was there, we made a new group chat called OC Supremacy, and we added pages like Large Trap and Yelp Anthony and Pat, and like all the big OC accounts.
Right.
And then from that, OC Supremacy, which is like the big group with all the big pages, right? I was a part of it already. We decided, like, why don't we just make our own subchats? So I made the OC Plebs chat that has people like Retry, Knocking Hill, Honey, Thick, Unregistered, Paprios. Like, I just have like my own group chat with a bunch of good OC content creators. And let's see, Dan has OC Merchants, Beepus has OC Force, Julius or Girl Scout Cookies has OC Wizards. So everyone made like their own account, like their own group chat. A Large Trap made the Large Chat, and they all have like their own recruits, and they all have like, it's just a big community just with subchats.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we tend to start trends. Like, for example, Son of the Meme God, which is in my OC Pleb chat, he started the pumpkin trend. I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but it's just like this clip of this girl that opens up a pumpkin and she starts screaming. So it went viral, and you just gotta find templates and spread them around, get some big pages to do them, and then the small pages start to do them, and then they get reposted, so more people want to do them.
Right.
So like, for example, Large Trap made the trend where Thanos is like, this used to be my home, and then he snaps his finger, and he made the green screen for it. Like that was a template. There was also the Venom template, when Venom opens up his like face, his mask, and you can see Venom, but people started switching out the face. So like those sort of templates become really popular, especially when someone makes a green screen. So Large Trap is known for making green screens. I'm known for making green screens. I made the template for the Mater meme, when Lightning McQueen gets scared.
Oh, okay.
So I basically removed Mater from the scene, and people started making memes with that.
So do you see these chats? Do you guys feel like you find something online and then you say, hey, this is worth spreading? Or is it more like you guys somebody brings something like that they made to the table, and you guys sort of agree, I like this, let's spread it around?
I mean, for example, Bear Boob with the whole Obama movement, that was all him. Like, he never told anyone. He just found this Reddit post from 10 years ago. And normally, the funny old stuff tends to trend. Like, they did Surgery on a Grave. That was like 8 years ago, the Da Vinci Project. And it's just like, it really depends on what the trend is, like the Knuckles trend that started a VR chat and everyone started doing it. So I feel like that was more of a community movement. But then you have Yobama, which was started by Bear Boob. And like the picture of PewDiePie on taking the supermarket cart, that also started. And normally people say like, oh no, every single meme starts in like Reddit, Instagram is a normie, iFunny is cool. I mean, it's just two really different communities, I feel like. So like on Reddit, there's just a bunch of collaboration, and on Instagram you have personalities. You have like these meme pages that are known for posting good content, making good content, right?
Yeah. And that sort of leads me actually to another question I had written down here. What are the differences, do you think, between like Reddit and Twitter and 4chan? All these different places have pretty distinct sort of like, I guess, personalities of their own. Like, I know people used to like to say everything starts on 4chan, then it goes to Reddit, then it goes to like Facebook, but I feel like now more than ever that's not the case. It's more like every single website is sort of doing its own thing, and even though they overlap, nobody's really just like, maybe other than like iFunny, no site is like purely reposts. So where do you see Instagram falling into that sort of spectrum? Do you see it like being really similar to another site, or what are the differences? I'm curious.
So one of the differences with Instagram right off the bat is the ability to have like group chats, and it's centered around a social, like this whole social aspect, like Facebook, for example. So Instagram is more of a close-knit community, I feel like, especially with the original content creator group, because then you have like YouTube, which is very big for like people like Rondé and Dolan Dark, which have been making memes for years now. but they're solos, right? Like Instagram is just very open to things like collabs and just having like communities set up by themselves. Reddit is like this whole bunch of fleet of anonymous users that find trends, and I feel like every single social media has their ups and downs. For example, Twitter is really good for getting views because when somebody retweets something you post, it directs you to your post, right? On Instagram, when people repost it, it's not your post anymore, it's their post, so they get all the engagement, they get all the likes. So it's really difficult to grow on, like, for example, YouTube is really difficult to grow in because it's hard to get videos out there. For example, I have a video that I posted that got like 40,000 views. It was like a meme of Megalovania with the Hotel Transylvania movie. And when I checked the insights with the YouTube app, I saw that most of the views came from searching Sans, Megalovania, Hotel Transylvania. Like, who comes up with these? Like, why do I start getting people searching that up and viewing my videos when I have other tutorials with 6K views, and people found that from Google or just looking up GameCube. So getting your content on YouTube out there is really difficult. Whereas in Instagram, you can just use like hashtags and get people to tag and other things. But then again, you have the shadow bans on Instagram. So I'm gonna explain what shadow bans are real quick.
Okay.
Shadow bans are non-official. Instagram does not say they created it, but what happens is when you get a post deleted and you have hashtags in that post, Instagram limits your exposure. So let's say you were growing really quick and then you get shadow banned. So when you post something with a hashtag and a person looks up that hashtag and explore, it no longer appears for them. So it limits your exposure, it kills all your explore, because most views come from explore. You know, you have, if I were to check right now on my recent post, so I go to view insights. So I have 36% account reached. So I have 17,812 people that reached my account. So 5,400 were from Explore. I had 16,786 from home. So those are people that follow me. I have 500 people from hashtags. I have 1,600 people from group chats. So when people send a meme to a group chat and they come and view my video, bam, I get that on my discovery insights.
Okay.
So all of that is exposure, right? So when you get shadow banned, let's say instead of having 36%, I get 0. So I get 0 people from Explore. I get 0 people from hashtags. And that just limits exposure and makes it really hard to grow. And there's like no sure way to get rid of it. It's just like you gotta wait it out, you know. You gotta be a warrior. It usually takes like 2 weeks, and it sucks if you're a content creator, because repost pages, I mean, they don't really care. They can just start reposting everything. But when you're a content creator and you spend days working on an edit and it does horrible, it's really unmotivating to, you know, keep editing, and especially with the longer videos. So I posted my Harambe edit under a shadow ban, and it has been one of my longer edits. It took like 3 days to make, 2 days, and it was really tough at the beginning, seeing that it got like no exposure at all, right? So I mean, that just is really bad for Instagram users. And whereas in Twitter, you know, there's no such thing as a shadow ban. You get retweets directed to your page, and that just gets you more followers and stuff.
Right. And
also
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I feel like in Reddit, tell me a name of a big page in Reddit.
Like a subreddit or a creator?
Like a creator on Reddit.
Oh, I don't even know.
You see, like that's where I'm going to. Reddit is big for having large communities, right? But there's no personalities. There's no people that stand out for creating content on Reddit. It's just finding like underground deep memes. You know, that's what Reddit is really good for. You know, finding the new trends, and that's when us original content creators come in. So we take those trends and we manipulate them and we make our own memes from that. So I think it's just the whole internet working as a whole, and then iFunny just reposted and they say that they're the big memers.
How translatable do you feel like your audience is from Insta? I know you're saying it's hard to get from like Instagram to YouTube, But I know, like, if
Mhm.
you're big on YouTube, you can pretty much get big everywhere else, it seems. Like, I know Jax
Yeah.
Films is huge on Twitter. Grande is huge on Instagram. So is, like, PewDiePie. Do you feel like it's harder for Instagram to bring their audience to another platform? Or do you think that it's, like, viable? Like, if you get shut down on Instagram, you can say, hey, go check me out on this new platform, and people will follow.
So, as of now, I have my YouTube set up as like templates and tutorials and stuff like that. But if I were to completely transition to YouTube right now, I would start like posting meme compilations of my own memes and stuff. Things like Grande and Doe and Dark Doe do really well. Like they do meme compendiums and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really hard to transition from Instagram to YouTube because I feel like most of the followers on Instagram follow on Instagram because they use Instagram a lot.
It's
so,
like the most convenient for them, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like this app, and it's their personal account, and they just have a feed, and they can just swipe through it if they don't want to see it. I feel like it's more accessible for like normal people to watch memes on Instagram, whereas in YouTube you have like all your subs are people that really enjoy your content, and they click on your videos, which is more different than they just appearing in your feed, right?
Right.
And if I were to transition, Instagram has like the swipe up features, which are really good. You can just swipe up and it takes you to the link. Or if you make a new Twitter account, you can get the small percentage of followers following on the Twitter account.
And wait, sorry to interrupt, but it doesn't, if I remember correctly, it takes 10,000 followers for that feature to be activated, right? Not just anyone can swipe
it takes 10,000. You gotta have that. You have to have that K in your username to get that feature.
Okay.
So it's 10,000 to get the swipe up link. So I mean, right from the bat, there's a downside of the swipe up link, right? But I mean, it's to have bigger pages get that feature,
right? Because
it's really good. I mean, you can also use it for ads. So Instagram is really hard to monetize, to be honest, and people don't like it. So for example, from YouTube, you get paid from views. But for example, to start making money off of YouTube, you have to have over 40,000 minutes watched. And you have to have over 1,000 subs to start monetizing your videos. I think I'm at like 800 subs right now. Okay. So I still can't monetize on YouTube. And I've only done a couple of ads on Instagram using the Plug Coin app.
Yeah.
And that's really easy to do. You just set up an ad and swipe up link, and it registers how many people download the app with your link, and you get paid in their currency, and then you have to like pay taxes and then get that money out, which I still haven't done. Right? So yeah, as to what I was going to, it's really difficult to transition from Instagram to another social media.
Yeah, and when you're trying to build that Instagram up enough that you have that sort of base to monetize yourself and to advertise, what do you feel like is the best way to get yourself bigger? What kind of like content or scheduling works best when you're trying to post on Instagram in a way that'll make your site or personality grow?
Okay, so for me, if I check my insights, which I'm gonna do right now, I go to my page and then I go into insights, and I can check out my audience. So I can see that a bar graph that has like the age range of my audience. So the biggest bar by far is 18 to 24 years, and then it's 25 to 34 years, and then it's 13 to 17 years.
Right.
So out of my two biggest bars, right, I know that the larger part of my audience studies, or at least I can assume they do. So why would I post at 9 a.m. when most of my followers are in classes, right? So usually for me, the best time for me to post is around 3 p.m. So if I can also in Insights check how many followers I get each day and at what time. So for example, Fridays at 3 p.m. I have gotten 25,155 compared as to Fridays at 3 a.m., which I've gotten 11,000, right? So if I check all the bar graphs for each day of the week, I see that 3 p.m. is the highest bar in each single day. And that's because people leave school and they check their phones, right? There's also like people that use their phones in class, but it's more difficult to get audience like that.
Right.
And for me, I make my own content. I usually try to post every 3 to 4 days because a meme usually takes 1 day to make. It really depends on the project I'm working on. For example, my recent post, it probably took like an hour, 2 hours to make. It was really easy. I just grabbed my phone, I put a green wallpaper, took a screenshot. I called myself with another phone and changed the contact name, and I took a screenshot of that. And since I have a green screen wallpaper, it was easy to key out in Photoshop and make those tiny little adjustments, and then just bring it all into After Effects and compile all the audio and video together. So that took like around an hour to make. But for example, my Harambe edit, which involves a lot of puppet and keyframing and transitions, it took like 2 days to make. So it really depends. I try to post every 2 to 3 days. And of course, since I'm in vacations right now, it's easier for me to make content for the other days. And especially video content, it's more difficult to make. If I were to post photo content like Bare Boot, it would be much more efficient way to post, since I can make photos in Photoshop really easily. But then again, it also has a downside. Like Bare Boob is really good at making jokes and getting punchlines done, whereas I'm more of I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my video edits. I like them to be perfect in every way, and I like all the little details that not a lot of people notice. So it's just two different types of editing styles, I guess. And yeah, for me, 3 to 4 days, 3 p.m. is what's been working out for me.
So, do you feel like there is a rate at which you could like burn out by posting too often, or do you feel like it's just as often consistently as you can while like keeping up quality?
Well, I mean, it really depends of the person. I know for a fact I got burned out this November. I was in final exams, and then I wanted to post, but then I didn't have time to post and study. And that kind of started affecting my grades a bit. And I kind of left Instagram for a month because I just needed time to, breathe and get my final exams done with. And that killed my account. That was right after my meme with 1.6 million views.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and that also is, it's really tough for Instagram. Once you get a really big post, you get like this big expectation that you gotta like keep up, right? So you make a better edited post, and then it does horrible. So my most viewed video I did in class, and it took like 30 minutes to make. And then one of my most time-consuming videos is one of my most underrated posts, and it took 2 days to make, and it has like the least amount of views. So that's really difficult also for like Instagram creators. It's really unmotivating to try to keep posting very good content on like a good schedule and try to be consistent, because consistency is key in Instagram. Instagram rewards you for having a consistent post schedule. It gives you more exposure and gives you more followers, right? But I mean, that's really tough, when you spend a lot of time on something and it does horrible. That's really tough for video editors like me.
Yeah. And do you feel like there's anything changing in the Instagram landscape that, up-and-comers should be aware of, or even just people that are like looking into different kinds of accounts and memes and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot of people that are starting out on Instagram, they're starting out their meme page. Most of them just go directly to the big pages, and they think that the best page to grow is like, hey bro, could you give me a shout out, bro? And it's like, no, don't do that. Like, first off, it's just bad reputation for your page. You can't just slide into a big page's DMs and ask them for a shout out, right? You gotta earn that shout. I like shouting out pages that are small and post really good content. People that deserve that shout out is the people I give the shout outs to, right? Yeah. So normally when people join Instagram, they go directly for the hey, give me a shout out route. Hey, shout out for shout out. Maybe they do paid shout outs with big pages. For example, right now there's this trend going on, all the Tik thoughts, as I like to call them. So there's a lot of videos on TikToks, and the big repost pages, they're also a community, right? Without the repost pages, original content creators can't grow, to be honest. So it's like a win-win situation. But the thing is that repost pages always have the most followers, and right now what's going on with all these TikTokers, the repost pages are posting quirky TikToks, as they like to call them. And, you know, as Instagram, the community always asks, what's her at? So the big repost put in the caption, her at is another repost page. And this repost page changes their profile picture to like a girl and changes their bio to like Belle 18. You were probably following me because of my TikTok. So I know some pages that have grown over 50K now doing that and paying for ads on other repost pages. So I mean, that's tough seeing how easy these guys can grow. But then again, they're the ones that get deleted for, you know, posting edgy content and stuff like that. So as an original content maker, it's easier to keep your account secure. And you just got to watch out with all the copyright stuff. That can end your account, to be honest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And before we sort of wrap up here, because I feel like we've sort of hit the points that I was looking to sort of discover today, is there anything else that you feel our listeners should know about Instagram? And then is there a place that they can go check you out?
Okay, so I think the thing that our listeners should know about Instagram is that it's a really, really big community with really good editors that post really good content. You guys, if you look for it, you'll find really good editors. I mean, I know a bunch of them out there. I couldn't name them all if I wanted to. It would take too much time. And you guys can follow me on Instagram or YouTube, my Twitter, which I'm trying to be more active on. My handle will be in the video or the magazine.
We'll post that down there. We're afraid it might the YouTube algorithm might not like it, but we'll make sure it's clear for all you guys listening in.
Yep, and as to, I just want to address that real quick. Since I started as a repost page, right, I never thought I was gonna end up creating my own original content. I was thinking of like the most original name that people would kind of stick to and remember, and me and my friend felt like this would, you know, stick to people's minds.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And the toucher part was because some friends of mine, they had a meme page called Infant Toucher, right? And so I said like, oh, I bet I can make a better meme page than you guys. And they were like, oh, want to bet? And I'm like, yeah. So I made this account, and I kind of got stuck with this name, right? Which is not the best name for a content creator. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing is getting verified on Instagram. I feel like that would help a lot. But me and Cyrenegg and Lifestrap have been talking about that, and it's kind of difficult for meme pages to get verified.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast. It was fun to learn about Instagram.
All right. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Nice meeting you guys.